Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome and happy spooky season. This week's Magical Monday video, we will cap off the spooky season true crime tarot reading with the Amityville Horror. If you guys do not know anything about the Amityville Horror, it's been plenty of books and movies made about it, but it is a house in Amityville. I want to say New York. Let me see. It's a house that was in Amityville, excuse me, that is notorious for being haunted. And it was first inhabited by the DeFeo family. And in 1974, there was a tragic event that happened where I believe six members of the family was unalived, and allegedly the older son was behind their untimely deaths. And he basically, Ronald DeFeo Jr. said that he was possessed. So he was in jail. He was convicted of their murders, and then the house was inhabited by, who was it inhabited by after the DeFeos? Because this is where the movie comes up front with. The Lutz family. In 1975, the Lutz family ended up with it, and they only lived in the house for 28 days, and they experienced some crazy happenings in the house. Crazy paranormal phenomena is what they said. And of course, they enlisted Ed and Lorraine, end up going to the house to see if it was really haunted and everything like that. So this is where I want to check in with the Amityville Horror, because so much we all know about it. We all seen the movies. Some of us may have read the books. So of course I have my protection going. I have my dragon blood incense and my third eye incense going to help connect with my third eye. So I got my protection going. So I wanted to see if it's true that it was haunted, that there was evil spirits there, or why Ronald DeFeo did what he did these evil entities encourage him to end the lives of his family members. I want to dive into it. And it really was the Lutz. Was it a hoax when the house fell into the Lutz hands, or was it really paranormal? So let's dive into it. So of course I have my energy oracle deck, and if we can get into it, we'll go into my zombie tarot deck, and then also my horror oracle deck if we have some time. So, but mainly I'm going to be using my energy deck. So Spirit, please show me this energy surrounding the Amityville house. Was it haunted? Was the Amityville house haunted? Was the Amityville house really haunted? If you hear bells, that's my cat Anubis. Yep. If you hear the cat, that's my cat Anubis. The hauntings, these accusations of the haunting really affected the community. It really affected the community because I have the community card. Turn on this light. Okay. It really affected the community. And some of the things, like things that they was trying to bring on, so because it was like possibilities. So this is a community that was really affected by the deaths and the subsequent haunting. So the whole community was affected. And I want to say this is the mayor, the thinking man. This is the mayor. So there were some things that was in place for the town that kind of went awry, that fell through because of the murders and the subsequent haunting. So it affected the county. So they lost a lot of a lot of opportunities. They lost a lot of opportunities. Was Ronald DeFeo affected by an evil entity to end his family's life? Was there an evil entity influencing Ronald DeFeo Jr.? Because Ronald DeFeo, he went back and forth with, he reneged, retracted, made different stories as to why he did what he did. And unfortunately, Mr. DeFeo did pass away. This was a family that on the surface, it looked like they was happy, but there was a lot of turmoil in the DeFeo family. And that is depicted in some of the movies and the book as well. That the DeFeo family had a lot of hostilities. There was a lot of issues going on behind closed doors. Was there an evil entity influencing Ronald DeFeo Jr.? They may have been having some financial problems. So I think some of the reason why this is going on is that there were so many hostilities within that family, the family dynamic. And it was about money. They was having some money issues because on the surface it looks like this was a prosperous family, but they was having some money issues, and it also brought on a lot of stress. So something was put into play. Like, this is the action card. So somebody took it upon themselves to try to resolve the issue. I do know that it is said that there was a lot of issues within that family, and they was going back and forth with Mrs. DeFeo's family. So there's a lot of issues going on. So it looks like on the surface that it was the problems going on with the family that kind of was a catalyst to Ronald Jr.'s ending the lives of his family members. Appreciation. I'm showing that they are appreciative of this reading and everyone's interest in it. But there is still people protecting. There's still some guarding. And this might be the community in itself. Yes, this is some of the community in itself. The Amityville community, that they are protective. They are very protective. So like I said, the community is very protective, and they've reached some type of contract, some type of deals to further protect the community from outsiders. There's some things in place for the looky-loos that come into Amityville, because the community itself is trying to not have this attachment, hence why the actual house was remodeled. They're trying to distance themselves from this alleged haunting. So there are things in place that the community and the government officials have put in place to further distance themselves from the haunting, but it's not really doing that much good because people are still coming to Amityville based off that house, because everyone knows what that house looks like and the address. Spirit, please show me the Lutz family. Spirit, please show me the Lutz family. Spirit, please show me the Lutz family. Was they experience a hoax? Spirit, please show me the Lutz family. Spirit, please show me the Lutz family. So I have the Envy card. I have Goddess of the Moon. I have the Magician in the Mirror. Also, I have Hostilities and Walking Away, and a woman holding the heart. So what I'm getting is that some things, not everything was paranormal. Some things was orchestrated, because with the Magician and the Mirror, as a magician, you are the creator. Excuse me, you are the creator of your reality. So some things was not all paranormal. We have to also look at the time that this happened. We also have more interest in the paranormal and exorcisms. The Exorcist the movie Exorcist was coming out. So I think there was some envy and jealousy of that. And then in the Lutz family, there was some hostilities there amongst the family, primarily Mr. and Mrs. Lutz, as to how far to go with their own involvement in the paranormal activity at Amityville. And of course, there's the walking away. I believe Mrs. Lutz, it became too much for her, and she just wanted to be done with the house and Amityville and the whole scheme. So not all of it was paranormal. Some of it was embellished, over exaggerated. And they was kind of capitalizing on the atmosphere that was going on with the interest of the paranormal at that time. And it's definitely going to come out with the Goddess of the Moon. It came out that there's that gray area with them in the story. But the parents, Mr. and Mrs. Lutz, and the investigators, there was some conflict there as to how exaggerated they can make this. But Mrs. Lutz got to, I believe Mrs. Lutz got to a point, or a female got to the point where they was feeling like it was too much. It was just too much. Didn't really like the idea. Went along with it, but really didn't like the idea of the exaggerating part. I'm getting that it was taken, this person believed that it was going to take, it was taken away from what the family was actually experiencing. Okay. Was the entity already there at the house? Was the entity already at the house before the DeFeos came and the Lutz came? I want to check that. Yes, the entity was already there, but it was dormant. It was dormant. It was rooted there. It was already there. And it's male energy. It is male energy that is at that on the land. It is male energy and it's rooted there. It is rooted there. Is the entity still at the Amityville house today? Is the entity still at the Amityville house today? It's still attached to the property with the all tied up. This male energy is still attached to the property, but there has been some attempts at cleansing this energy and healing this energy. There has been some attempts. There are ongoing attempts to either get rid of this energy or at least put it back to sleep. But this energy is still attached to the property. This energy is still attached to the property. That is for sure. But it's like, it's quiet now. It's quiet now. It is quiet now. Why is the entity there? Spirit, please show me why the entity is there. Why is the entity there? Yes, it's rooted there. It's rooted there. It's attached and rooted. Spirit, please show me why the entity is there. It has a connection to the land, not the house per se, but the land. It has a connection there, and it's there to bring balance to the area, or is seeking to bring some type of harmony or balance to the space. This could be the entity or the people trying to help this entity, but it has a connection to this to the land. It does have the connection to the land. Is the entity indigenous? Because we all know that when it's an indigenous person's land prior to or a burial ground, that does lead to some activity. Is the entity an indigenous being? Was he an indigenous being? Yes, it's dormant. The entity is dormant now. Excuse me. It's dormant. It's like in a restful state. But that doesn't mean that it will not come back. I got Angel of Love. So it's surrounded by white light. Yes. Through some effort. Yes, it's trying to bring some, it's always talking about some type of balance. So I wonder if this was some land that was taken from indigenous people, because now I got contract coming up. But whatever this is, it's going to come out with the goddess of the moon. I have the goddess of the moon. And then angel of balance. When this information comes out, it's going to bring it's going to bring about a balance that is needed. But this may have been some indigenous people's land that was taken and defiled. I don't know where that came from. So for the Lutz's part, some of it was exaggerated. That, of course, that came out. Some of their story is exaggerated, and they walked away. Of course, they walked away from the property, but it's more so because of Mrs. Lutz. Okay, let's jump into some tarot real quick. Let's go back to the DeFeo family, because we know that the hostilities surrounding that family kind of heightened the entity that was already on the land. Show me the reason why, Spirit, Ronnie unalived his family. Was there a reason why he unalived his family, Spirit? Spirit, was there a reason why he unalived his family? So I have death in reverse. I have the Eight of Wands in reverse. I have the Two of Hazards, which is the Two of Pentacles. And then I also have the Six of Pentacles. Now it's talking about avoiding some type of change and receiving a message that was delayed. So I wonder if there was an opportunity coming for Ronald DeFeo Jr. that didn't come about, that was blocked. He had so many things in place, but they wasn't coming through. And then I got the Six of Pentacles, which is in reverse. So there was some type of opportunity that Ronald Jr. was involved in that fell through. And when he went for help, seeking help from his family, probably his mom and dad, they decided they was not going to help him get out of the predicament. Whatever he was up to put the family at risk. Whatever he was up to was going to put the family at risk. Did his sister help him commit the murders? Did his sister help him commit the murders? Spirit, please show me if his sister helped him. The Page of Swords talks about immature behavior. Impulsive decision. This wasn't planned. This was not planned. This was impulsive. This was done like in the heat of the moment. This was an impulsive decision. And with the King of Wands, that brings about what came to mind was the dad. King of Wands in reverse. And then the Justice in reverse. So if the sister was involved, it was an impulsive decision of hers. This is an act against the father, who was very dominant and domineering. And this is and she's not being blamed for the murders. Ronald Jr. took that to it took the bulk of the blame. But it does kind of look like she had some involvement in it, because with the Justice card in reverse is saying that someone was getting away. We know she didn't get away with too much, because she ended up being a victim herself. But I think Ronald came to her, or they both in talks with each other. Ooh. They was talking about how much they feared and did not like their father. And in the midst of the talking, because of their immature thinking and behavior and impulsiveness, this act happened. Spirit, did she pull the trigger first? Did she start the shooting first? Spirit, did she start the shooting first? I got the Moon in reverse, the Fool. Did the sister start the shooting first? Spirit, please show me if the sister started the shooting first. Queen of Hazards. With the Moon in reverse, that generally talks about secrets and everything. She definitely has some involvement, but her involvement is not really looked at. Her involvement is not really looked at. Her involvement is not really looked at, because no one wants to see that she actually has some involvement in it. And her reasoning was basically to get a new start. But I can't see if she started the shooting without Ronald. But her involvement is not really being seriously considered, because people fail to want to see that. Let's jump to the horror oracle, and then we can start wrapping this up. And see if we could get some more clarity to the regarding the entity that is there. But the sister did have some involvement. There was a conversation. You know how kids talk. They are mad at the father, mad at the parent. They're drinking things, drinking, smoking, whatever have you. And the conversation turns serious, and then it becomes a bit of a plan, but it wasn't premeditated. It was impulsive. It was an act done at the moment, in the moment. It was a decision made in the moment. Let's jump back to the tarot. I got one last question. Why was the kids unalived? What was the reason behind unaliving the siblings? What was the reason behind unaliving the siblings? The other siblings? Spirit, please show me the reason behind the unaliving of the other siblings, the younger siblings. Now, the decision behind the unaliving of the minor children looks like Ronnie couldn't do anything about it because she had already made a decision that they was a burden. Collateral damage. Collateral damage. Because what I got when I pulled the Emperor card was, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. So that's basically what I got. Ronald said, if we're going to do this, let's do this. Because the damage was already done. It had already began. So if we're going to do it, we might as well do it and finish it. So it's like there was like collateral damage. which is very unfortunate. Which is very unfortunate. Spirit, please show me what the entity wants now. Spirit, please show me what the entity wants now. Spirit, please show me what the entity wants now. Now with the ice, this is the movie The Thing with Kurt Russell. It's saying don't trust everything that all the information that's coming out. You can't trust it. You can't trust all the information that is coming out. And with obsession, which is the Phantom of the Opera in reverse, lean on to your own understanding as it regards to the information that's coming out. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. Harvest, which is, of course, the children of the corn. As a group, we'll be able to reconcile what happened at Amityville. And I think this is what the community is doing, is banding together to protect the community. Because you can't trust everything that's been told. Cujo is illness, which is the Stephen King movie. Yeah, the community is prioritizing their own needs to protect the community. And with Lies, which is the movie They Live, and it's in the reverse, we have to look at how we contribute to the ongoing legacy of our Amityville. We have to look at how we are contributing to the information that's coming out. That's through investigations, paranormal investigations, even going to look at the house, visiting Amityville. We have to look at our own, how we're contributing to the legacy of Amityville. So the entity is just basically saying, you know, we need to look how we're contributing to pretty much the problem, the issue. Because the community is trying to protect itself and heal and reconcile with what happened. And it can't because of the outside world. Is there any other messages regarding the entity at Amityville? Is there any other messages regarding the entity at Amityville? It's quiet. The entity is quiet. It's dormant, and it feels like it wants to stay that way. If negative energy enters into the house, the activity will start up again. Help Me, The Exorcist, and In Nature, the Birds. The transformation that's happening at the Amityville house is welcoming. It's not always a bad thing. But keeping it in a negative light does no good. It does the community no good. It doesn't do the entity that's there no good. So the challenges that's coming at Amityville need to be met individually. As they come, you address it. It's going to be a continual issue because people going to be people, and they have the interest of the paranormal, and they want to investigate that house. But it's not a good idea. The house is privately owned now, and the owners want nothing to do with paranormal investigation. Yeah, they don't want anything to do with paranormal investigation. So I hope you guys enjoyed this true crime through the lens of the tarot. And this week we looked into the Amityville. So it looks like the DeFeo family, the entity was always there. The entity became more active because of the dynamic of the DeFeo family and the dominance of the father and the conflict between the children and the father. The financial issues going on with the DeFeo family, the lack of support on of the family, primarily the parents for Ronald DeFeo. There is some involvement of the daughter regarding the shootings. The minor children was pretty much collateral damage. That's what the cards came out with. Now, the Lutz family, we see that it's not all what it seemed. It wasn't just, paranormal activity was there, but it was exaggerated to a higher extent for the Lutz's part. They did experience paranormal activity, though. They did experience paranormal activity, but that activity was overly exaggerated. And Mrs. Lutz couldn't keep up with the exaggerations. She felt a certain type of way about it. If they just kept it at the paranormal and that was it, would have been happy about that. But they did experience something. They did experience a lot of things there that they could not explain. So they created a situation where what was exaggerated overshadowed the actual activity that was being done. And that entity is still there. It's just quiet and dormant. And the community is actively, consistently keeping it dormant. What I believe what they're doing with the house is making sure that a family that's in there is not troubled, doesn't have a background. So it's like they're screening the families that has that property. So that's what I got for Amityville. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified each time I upload a new video. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this true crime tarot readings through the of course, through the lens of the tarot. If you guys do want me to continue with some true crime tarot readings, let me know in the comment section, and maybe I could do it once a month or every blue moon, because there's a lot to look into. And happy spooky season.